Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, and welcome back to another episode of the Boulevard Podcast. And here we go, breaking down the big, bad SEC, the best conference in college football. Um, the big boys here. How's everybody doing tonight?
Good, ready to go.
Ready to go. My boy Jose here, he's having a little technical difficulties with his camera. He should have that back next week, but we're glad he's here with us. How you doing, Jose?
I'm doing good, doing good. Yeah, sorry about that. Not sure what it is. It might be I'm not sure if it's my laptop or the streaming site that we use, but one of them's failing me right now. I'll have it figured out for next week. But excited to break this down, inching closer to the season. I think we're like 3 weeks away now, guys. So
getting close.
yeah, just counting down the days, counting down the minutes at this point, really.
Yeah.
We got some little preseason NFL coming up. My boy Big T's Chargers last week.
I'm gonna
right,
be
yeah.
betting on them.
My boy done put a future in on Trey Lance to win MVP. So
He looked good. Hey, in all honesty, he looked
on
pretty
them
damn good.
yeah, he looked good. He looked good. So and we're live on Twitch tonight. So shout out to everyone over on Twitch. I'll be kind of monitoring both chats, and if you have any questions, throw them down there. We'll get to them as quick as we can. But yeah, last big boy conference here, the SEC. Quick question I was thinking about today, guys. SEC or Big Ten? What's the better conference?
Top to bottom SEC, but
Yeah,
Big Ten, the champions come from the Big Ten, at least of recent times.
Very top heavy.
Yeah. All right, well, let's get into this here. Talk about some homicide hogs. We're going to talk about some my Volunteers, my Bulldogs. So we're going to get over into this
Jesus
right here.
Christ.
What do you mean?
I mean, you can't. How could you possibly say your Bulldogs and your Volunteers in the same sentence? It doesn't make any sense. Just say your Volunteers and move on. Don't say your Bulldogs. We know it's the Volunteers. I don't know why you keep trying to lie to us for. Lie to everybody on watching the stream.
All right, let's move into this. Let's break this conference down. See who's going to be in and out of the playoffs. Who's going to win this conference? Arch Mania is here. Also, that's all I hear about around here is Arch Mania, Arch Manning, this and that. Tyler, why should we be hyped up for Texas this year, big dog?
I'm gonna keep it a buck. I'm gonna need everybody to slow down on the Arch train for right now. I'm not saying he ain't got the potential to get there, but he played against Mississippi State and what was the other game, like UTSA last year? Like, let's calm down.
No, I think it was ULL. I'm sorry.
Yeah. So let's calm down a little bit. Like, I'm not saying he can't be that good, but like, everybody chill just for a second. Like, let the dude breathe, and we'll see how he plays. Now, that being said, they got some dogs on this team. I'm not going to lie to you. They've got some dogs on this team. They always recruit well, and obviously their NIL is crazy, up there with the best of anybody. So they've got some really good players. But I do think the schedule's a little harder than last year's. They do have some tough road spots, and I do think some of the teams – they play some of the same teams from a year ago, but I think those teams are going to be a little better than they were a year ago. They open week 1, absolute fire game. It is criminal that they are playing this at noon.
Yes,
but at that game, week 1 is going to be
even
fire.
Worse. I'm sorry, even worse. Like when we're going to be in San Diego, this game's at 9:00. This is a 9 a.m. game from where
that's insane, dude.
We're going to be waking up watching this.
I'm gonna have to whip up some breakfast for y'all and watch some football.
Yeah, that is not right. But yeah,
don't get me wrong. Like, I'm not going to complain
there,
about Texas and Ohio State first thing off the rip when we wake up in the morning. Don't get me wrong. I ain't gonna be mad about it. But like, put it in prime time. Like prime time. That's a night game. That's a nighttime prime time game if I've ever seen one. Like,
what is the prime time game while we're there though? There is a pretty big primetime game. I'll take a look.
Go ahead.
I think because Alabama and Florida, I was talking about it with somebody the other day. Alabama and Florida State play at 2:30. When does LSU and Clemson play?
It's LSU Clemson.
Yeah,
it's the primetime game.
So also,
we'll get into that later.
My Clemson.
Yeah,
Clemson Tigers.
We'll get into that team here in a second. But yes, week 1 is fire, and we're going to be in San Diego watching it, so that's going to be fire. But back to this team. This win total is sitting at 9.5, and low key, I teetered back and forth. I really did. because they lost a lot after this last season to the NFL. And I'm going to lean slightly under. I really am. I still think they find a way into the playoff, but I still think 9-3 is more likely than 10-2, just because of some of the road spots. And like I said, I think some of the teams that they play are better than they were a year ago. And so I'm going to go slightly under. Look, I think Arch is going to be just fine, but I want to see him, get some experience under his belt. And we may find out week 1, like, if they goes in there and they plays very good against Ohio State, I'll admit I'll be the first one to tell you I'm wrong. Yeah. But I got to see it first. But that defense is going to be stacked. They return some absolute dogs on the defense side of the ball. Colin Simmons and Anthony Hill Jr., especially Anthony Hill Jr., is an absolute animal there at the linebacker spot. They return Malik Muhammad and Michael Taft there in the defensive backs. They've got Wisner back at running back. C.J. Baxter's coming back off an injury. Ryan Wingo at wide receiver. So they got the pieces. But you saw, like, last year with this team, like, they lost to Georgia twice with a backup quarterback. Low-key, they should have lost to Clemson. And then they kind of got bailed with the non-targeting call that wasn't called against Arizona State, because Arizona State was making a comeback in that game too. So with that being said, I'm just going to go slightly under. I don't feel confident in it at all. Would it shock me if this team went 10-2? Hell no. Like, they're going to be just fine. But I do think just a slight regression just from what they lost last year.
And they're in for you?
They're in. Yeah. I just don't. Yeah. I just don't think.
I think this team will find a way in as well. I was listening to a podcast the other day while I was mowing the yard, and I agreed. They were talking about how, regardless of Arch, you do have to kind of see what he does here. But this defense has the chance to be the number one scoring defense in the country. And I believe the last 3 or 4 years, the number one scoring defense has been the national champion. So we'll just kind of have to see what goes with that. But yeah, I'm with you here. This team will get in. They do have a tough schedule, but I'm 100% with you here. And Jose, you got anything you want to add real quick?
Just from a broader perspective, like this whole Arch, mania hype, whatever it is. Like, if you're a Texas Longhorn fan, like last year, your team was good last year, right? Like, they had a really good team. But is it fair to say Quinn Ewers kind of held them back a little bit? Like, he didn't play the way we thought he could. He kind of held that offense back just a little bit. So if Arch comes out this year and he balls out, he's a star, he looks great, you have to kind of question Sarkisian's decision-making, because if Arch would have played last year, that team probably could have won a national championship. Yeah. Like, they didn't lose to Ohio State by a lot last year. They had a chance to win that game or tie that game on the goal line. So I'm just saying, like, just food for thought. If Arch comes out and balls out, why wasn't he starting last year? I don't know. I digress on that point. Yeah. Speaking of Sark, though, look, he's got to win some big games, guys. I mean, yeah, he kind of built Texas up, and they have the roster to compete at a national level. But has he really won a big game? Like, he lost last year to Georgia both times. He lost to Ohio State in the semifinal. He lost to Washington, 2 years ago to get to the championship. I thought they were a better team than Washington from a roster standpoint. Yeah. They probably should have lost to Arizona State. Yeah. So at some point, Sark's going to start winning some big games. Otherwise, his seat might get a little hot. But Tyler talked about the defense. They're going to be stacked on that side of the ball. Anthony Hill Jr., I think, is a stud NFL guy. Colin Simmons, NFL guy. Trey Moore, probably NFL guy. I'll go under because they're going to lose week 1 no matter what, and they'll probably lose at Georgia. You got to play like at Florida. You never know with Oklahoma. That's a rivalry game. A&M. So who knows? But I'll go under here for the sake of the podcast, but no official bet for me. But excited to see how they look.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree here. And I'm going to talk about my Georgia Bulldogs here. Kirby Smart and company. Gunnar Stockton sounds like he's going to be our starting quarterback with Pulaski right behind him. But, yeah, listen, Kirby Smart returns. Coaching staff returns. Really good team here. Georgia is one of the elite recruiters in the country. They can reload very easily. Their defense will remain one of their greatest assets. They'll constantly limit opponents and, keep Georgia in these games that against, tougher competition. Last year, we kind of saw, in my opinion, Carson Beck hold this team back. And the biggest thing here was the receivers held this team back more than anything. Led the nation in drops. We did go and address that in the portal, getting Zachariah Branch and Noah Thomas, as well as some good elite freshman recruits. So, and then a big key for the, offensive line, defensive line, you never have to question this at Georgia. Always good. Defense is always good. But another staple that Georgia always has is their running back position. And we got Nate Frazier coming back. He kind of showed that he was the guy, even with Trevor Etienne being there. Nate Frazier kind of took over that and was like, I am the guy. He kind of fits that mold a little bit better for Georgia, in my opinion, at the running back position, kind of more what they're looking for than Trevor Etienne was. And listen, they have a favorable schedule here. Georgia at home has not lost a game since 2020, I believe, 2019, 2020. They just don't lose at home. It's unbelievable. They avoid tough road games. I believe they only have 3 true road games this year. The rest are neutral sites. But, I mean, you got to go to Tennessee, a team I'll talk about later. You get Florida in a neutral site. You get Texas at home. I mean, it's just kind of a cakewalk. You go to Mississippi State. That's a road game for them, which Mississippi State's probably the worst team in the conference. And you get Alabama at home. So, yeah, this is a cakewalk for Georgia. They'll definitely be in the playoffs. And Gunnar Stockton kind of reminds me a little bit of the back when Aaron Murray kind of stepped into that quarterback role. Like, oh, he's too small. He's not as good, this and that. I think Gunnar Stockton's going to be just fine. He's actually a little more mobile than Carson Beck, which I think will help this offense open up even more. And we got to see him play in the playoffs some. He can do it. He's shown he can do it. He's going to be just fine. This team is going to be just fine. They're always going to be prominent. So yeah, I have Georgia making it back to the semifinals here. Depending on their draw, I would even Clemson is my champion, but I would put Clemson up against Georgia if it was the right draw. So, but yeah, Georgia will be fine. They'll be in the semifinals. They'll be the SEC champion this year, and yeah, go Dogs. Anybody got anything they want to add over there on Georgia?
No, they'll be back.
Yeah, Jose.
Yeah, I'll go under on Georgia. I just don't really care for the roster, to be honest with you guys. I think out of all the Georgia teams I can remember in the last 5 years with Kirby Smart, I think this is like the worst personnel. I'm not saying it's bad personnel, but I just think compared to the other ones, it's not as talented. I don't really see a lot of NFL guys on this roster, to be honest with you. I think guys will make the NFL. On offense, like you want to surround Gunnar Stockton with like talent, and the players they brought in, I'm just not big fans of. Like, Zachariah Branch, I saw him play at SC for 2 years, and he came in like as a top 5 recruit. He was supposed to be like this Tyreek Hill, DeAnthony Thomas type player. He didn't live up to expectations. And like typically when a receiver transfers out of a Lincoln Riley system, they don't really end up being all that good. So, I mean, I don't hate the fact Georgia took a shot on him, but we'll see exactly how it plays out this season. Noah Thomas comes in from A&M. I like his game a little bit. Didn't really get to see him explode last year just based on the offense he was playing in. So it's still jury's out on him, but I think you have to surround Gunnar Stockton with better personnel than what they gave him. John talked about the schedule. He's right. The schedule is not that bad. So they should get to 10 wins here, but I'm not a fan of this roster as compared to previous Georgia teams. So I'm going to go under with them. I think there's another team that has a better roster and a better personnel in comparison to Georgia. So I'll say Georgia finishes 9-3 this season.
Okay. And I definitely get that for sure. I think that Zachariah Branch here is going to kind of fit that Miko Hardman role that they had a few years ago. I think that's kind of where he's going to slot into. And Noah Thomas, I believe he'll kind of slot into that George Pickens role, I guess, is the kind of go up and get it guy. So we'll kind of have to see here. Nate Frazier's got to stay healthy. But, yeah, I believe this team will be just fine. And Jose does make great points as well. And we're going to head over to Alabama, a down year for them, a lot would say. Jose, can the Crimson Tide go back to being prominent, or are they still going to have some building to do with Kalen DeBoer over there.
No, they're prominent to win the national championship this year. This is my pick to win everything. I think Bama's stacked. Like, the only question I have on Bama, and I know it's kind of a big question, but let me explain, is the quarterback position. Now, I know when you say that, you think to yourself, okay, well, that's like the biggest question you could possibly have, which is true. But if there's any two coaches I trust with a quarterback, is Kalen DeBoer and Ryan Grubb. Now, keep in mind, Ryan Grubb was in the NFL last year with Seattle. Didn't work out there. Came back to college. He was kind of the mastermind. Him and DeBoer really shared it 50-50. The mastermind behind that Washington passing attack when they went to the national championship game. From what I understand, it seems like it's going to be Ty Simpson to start. And he's a former 5-star kid. So it's not like he doesn't have any talent. But I would have liked to have seen him separate himself more from the pack at this point. Doesn't seem like he has. If they really want to go wild, they brought in like the number 2 recruit in the country last year, Keelan Russell. I believe he's from Duncanville, Texas. 5-star blue chip kind of kid. Don't know if they're going to throw him out there right away at Florida State, but maybe that second game against ULM, if Ty Simpson hasn't really sold him yet, that might be a nice spot to work in the freshman. Either way, I trust DeBoer and Grubb to get the quarterback right. You look at the rest of this roster, guys, it's stacked, like from top to bottom. Defensive line stacked. Linebacking corps stacked. Secondary stacked. Defense might be the best in the country. It's definitely going to be top 5. It has potential to really, really compete. And that's not DeBoer's specialty, right? Like, when we've seen him struggle, I mean, the reason why DeBoer didn't win at Washington wasn't because of the offense. It was because of the defense. He took him that far just purely on from an offensive standpoint, offensive schematics. You give him an elite defense, like top tier country elite defense. I really, really think sky's the limit for him in this team. I'm just a big fan of his coaching style in general. I think he's one of the better coaches in the country. Receiving corps, they may have the best receiving corps in the SEC, definitely top 3 in the country, in my opinion. I mean, you have Ryan Williams. Everybody knows he was 17 last year. If you didn't know, he was 17. Jeremy Bernard from Washington, he was fantastic. They're bringing Isaiah Horton. Just a lot of quality. Offensive line should be better. Caden Proctor's going to step in at left tackle, former 5-star kid. This is my pick to win everything. Really, really like the coach, like the offensive coordinator, like the roster, like the personnel. If Ty Simpson comes in and he's 90% of what Mac Jones was, this team's winning the Natty. So, over at Crimson Tide, SEC, National Championship, everything. Love this team.
Yeah, and one thing I wanted to bring up real quick, I think is really important here is last year, Kalen DeBoer did not coach with his normal 2 coordinators, if I'm correct, and he brought both of those guys in this year into Alabama. Guys that he has coached with for many years up at Washington when they had their success. He said, I need you guys to come back. So they are down there with him at Alabama this year, and I think that will be huge for Bama. I think Bama's going to be a great team. They're in the playoffs for me as well, and we'll make a little bit of a run. Just kind of have to see what kind of draw they get. But I'm with Jose here. I think this team will be really good this year. And let's head over here to LSU. Our boy Brian Wood's favorite coach, Brian Kelly. LSU. Listen, I'm a fan of this team. I know they're getting a lot of hype here. I have them up there and in my top 3 with Clemson, Georgia, and then LSU. And it all starts at the quarterback position. Garrett Nussmeier returns. Senior QB, 4,000 yards last year, 29 touchdowns. He is a Heisman front runner this year. I think they have some value here to win the SEC at plus 700. I do see a little bit of value there. They bring in the number 1 ranked transfer class, highlighted by Nick Anderson, Barian Brown. Rising star tight end Trey D's Green. They have a lot more depth at receiver this year. Multiple pass catchers for Nussmeier to throw to. LSU, they did lose 4 starters, including standout tackles Will Campbell, Emory Jones Jr. to the NFL. Tyree Adams is expected to step in along with Virginia Tech transfer Braylon Moore and returning center DJ Chester. Listen, I think the defensive side of the ball has some major upgrades. They brought in edge rushers Patrick Payton from Florida State, Jake Pyburn from Florida. I think that's going to give a huge boost to them. Whit Weeks, linebacker Weeks is supposedly healthy. And listen, our boy, what's his name? Jesus, his name is slipping my. What the heck? Why is his? Oh, Park's back.
I mean, this guy,
Park's
this
back.
is like our original boy. Like out of all the guys, like in college, like that we've been like discussing, like throughout the last couple of years, he was the original, like our guy. Am I wrong?
Yeah.
He was like the OG, and ever since then, like his career's gone downhill. Downhill. He's been straight downhill ever since we branded him as our guy.
Oh, Perk's back. He's gonna be playing safety, linebacker, wide receiver. You name it.
Can we get him out of that Mike linebacker?
He needs to
let him get out
get
to
on the edge and yes, dude.
Let him go. Let him go get it. That's what he was great at. Like, why are we taking him off?
Yeah.
No, as a freshman, I'm serious. As a freshman, I would have taken him like as a top 5 pick in the draft. That's how good he was his freshman year.
Yeah.
That's how good he was.
Listen, this first game of the year is going to be a tough one. They open up with a road showdown against Clemson. If this will be kind of that spot for me, I actually hope I do hope. Obviously, I hope Clemson wins this game. It doesn't really matter for either team, in my opinion. It's a non-con game. It will help boost your resume to get in the playoffs. I hope LSU loses this game because I'll probably place a live bet on them, and then I'll ride out LSU and Clemson to the national championship. But yeah, I'm a big fan of this team. I think they got it all. I think that Brian Kelly's seat is a little hot, and he's feeling it, and he needs to get it done. So I like this team a lot. Top to bottom, defense, offense, I think they'll be good. They do take trips to Ole Miss, Alabama, and Oklahoma, and they get A&M and Florida at home. So I'm kind of at that 10-2 level. They get in. I think they could make a run at the national championship with this quarterback as long as he stays healthy. Guys, got anything you really want to add to LSU here?
Yeah, I do, because I'm glad. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Tyler.
No, go ahead. So you.
Well, you just said the key word. As long as his quarterback stays healthy. I don't know if you guys saw the rumors swirling around today. It seems like Nussmeier might have torn his ACL in practice. I don't know if that's confirmed, but what I will tell you is that line from Clemson, that opening game, jumped from -2.5 to -4.5. So if you guys have your notifications on, I got that notification right away. It jumped up to 4.5, and I did some media research, and there's a lot of rumors swirling around. And as far as last time I checked, that number has not come down. It's still at 4.5, which makes me think there may be some truth to that rumor. Now, I guess it's a wait and see kind of attitude, but sports books typically don't adjust numbers that much in a big game like this unless they know something for sure. So just food for thought going forward. If you want to back LSU, just make sure you're up to date on Nussmeier's health status, because although what's going around right now is he is not 100%.
That is definitely something to watch for. I'm kind of looking through some stuff right now. It is still speculative. Nussmeier was helped off the field today. It does seem like he might have avoided a major issue. Maybe he's out that week 1 against Clemson. But Bruce Feldman, he does say Nussmeier is going to be fine. The people are overreacting. So I don't know. We'll have to see here. We'll have to see if he actually is a major injury. That is something to keep an eye out for. So yeah, definitely watch for that. And let's move over here to Texas A&M. A coach that we all love. Jose, go for it. Break down A&M for us.
Yeah, I mean, we all are Elko fans. I think we all respect him, especially as a defensive mind, one of the best defensive minds in the country. Look, this number opened at 8.5 for A&M. I think it's down to 7.5 last I checked for your win total. And I got to say, that seems about right. As I look through this schedule, I see about 8 solid wins, and I see about 4 for sure losses, right? Like Notre Dame, that's going to be a loss. You got LSU, as long as Nussmeier's healthy, that should be a loss. At Texas should be a loss. Florida could be a loss. I didn't really see that much of an edge from a win-loss perspective, I'll be honest with you guys. So if you're looking from that perspective, I don't have much to offer you. But as far as the team itself, they got to get, I don't want to say stronger, but they have to get more physical. Because last season, we came into that Notre Dame game talking about how their defensive line was elite. best in the country, 5-star talent across the board, and they got pushed around against Notre Dame. And it wasn't just a game one thing. If you guys remember the last game of the season against Texas, right? I believe the final score was like 17-14 or something like that. That final score was not indicative at all of how close of how much Texas manhandled them in that game. Texas pushed them around. Again, any game where A&M's physicality was matched, or at least they played against a team of similar profile, they got their ass handed to them, to be honest with you guys. They did not perform well in those situations. So they got to get stronger. Got to get tougher on the defensive line and the offensive line of the ball on the line of scrimmage. Quarterback-wise, Marcel Reed, I think we were all clamoring for him to take over as starter like after the first week of the season because we figured his style of play fit the offense a lot better than what Weigman could provide. I'll be honest with you, he didn't really wow me. I thought he fit the offense better and he was better than Weigman, but he still didn't really jump off the screen at me. He was okay. He's got to progress as a passer for sure in order for A&M to take that next step. The running back room, though, is solid. It should be one of the best in the SEC. Le'Veon Moss comes back. Ruben Owens is there. Emmitt Smith Jr. is there. They have a lot of talent there. So they're going to be a running team for sure. This team will like to limit the possessions. They're going to try to beat you on the ground. We talked about Noah Thomas. He left this offseason at Georgia. So the receiving room is a little barren, but they do bring in Casey Concepcion. He was one of our guys last season at NC State, tore it up there in the ACC. Yeah. Excited to see how he plays in this system. I think he should have got somewhere else, but he's here. Whatever they threw the bag at him, excited to see how he meshes with this offense. It's 7.5 the win total. I'll say over because I think they get to 8, but I think they stay at 8. I still don't think they make a run or they're a serious threat to compete at a national level. They have a damn good home field advantage, but besides that, I just don't see that much upside with this team. I think 8-4 is a pretty standard season for them, and I expect them to get back to that number. I'm not really sure what it is they're missing. I guess it's the quarterback. This team has some potential, I guess, but overall not enough for me to buy in. So yeah, I'll go slightly over with A&M, but I'm not a big believer in them, to be honest with you guys.
I 100% agree here. I was listening to a podcast the other day, and I also agreed with them. They kind of had mentioned that A&M's a good team, not elite, but they really believed in Elko as well and what he's doing, and they think that A&M is just about 2 years away from really kind of competing for that national championship. I do agree with that. I think Elko's doing a great job. He'll get it under control here. They'll have a good season. I think he's got a lot of support there. So yeah, I agree with Jose here. They're out of the playoffs, but they should have a pretty good season, about 8-4. And let's head over to the Ole Miss Rebels. Lane Kiffin and company have to replace Jackson Dart at quarterback. How are they going to do that, Big T? And are they going to be in the playoffs this year? What do you think?
Playoffs, no. I kind of look at them kind of the same as I do A&M. Kind of take that same description that Jose just gave, good team, not on a national level. That's Ole Miss for me. They always have really good players on their team, but they always drop a game or two and throw up a dud every year and don't ever get to that point, and I don't really expect that to change. Looks like Austin Simmons is going to be the starting quarterback for Ole Miss. And considering that didn't really go get anybody on the portal, I'm assuming that, Lane really likes him. I think he's talked pretty highly of him, and, that's going to be their guy. So curious to see how he does. He doesn't have a whole lot of experience, hardly any at all. But it seems to be, from what I've read and heard so far, is that Lane, I guess, really likes his play. So that's going to be their guy for this year. Now they've got the portal list. I don't know if y'all looked at their transfer portal list, but I mean, it was like 40-something players, 30-something players. I mean, I wasn't going to sit that, there were so many players in that transfer portal that they got in. And I'm not going to read through every one of them, but they did get some good weapons up front. They went and got our best offensive lineman, ours being Arkansas, a guard transferred over the past 3 or 4 years, dude. I'd say probably 2 or 3 years. I have poached all so many of our players, from Arkansas. Tight end Luke Haas transfers over there. Our best corner Jalen Braxton transfers to Ole Miss. They get Harrison Wallace from Penn State. He was a 700-yard, 4-touchdown guy a year ago. They get Deshaun Stribling from Oklahoma State. Was a really good player for them. He was almost a 900-yard, guy, 6 touchdowns a year ago. And then they get some pieces on the defensive side of the ball too. They get Wydell Williams from Louisiana Monroe, who's a good player. He had about 4 or 5 interceptions last year, and he was a good tackler in the backfield, some tackles for loss. And then they get a running back, Damian Taylor from Troy, who was a 1,000-yard rusher and 7 touchdown guy a year ago. So they went and got some pieces in the portal. On defense, I don't know how do you pronounce his first. Suntarine Perkins, did you say his first name?
Yeah, Suntarine, yeah.
Yeah, dog. Absolute dog. I will say he's probably the best player on that defensive side of the ball. He's an absolute stud. They returned Caden Lee at receiver too, had 800 yards and 2 touchdowns a year ago. So I think their offense is going to be just fine if Austin Simmons can step into that role and sling the ball as Lane Kiffin likes to do. The defense is a little concerning for me just because they didn't have a whole lot returning. The line for them sitting at 8.5. That's right where it needs to be. They're right in that 8 or 9 game range. They always drop a game or two. That they really shouldn't. Their road trips, they do got to go to Georgia and to Oklahoma, but outside of that, it's really not bad. They really have a favorable schedule. Arkansas comes to them, LSU comes to them, South Carolina comes to them, Florida comes to them. So they've got their tougher games besides the Oklahoma and Georgia game. They get a majority of them at home. So I think that's about right. I'm gonna go slightly under the 8.5, put them at 8 wins. And say they lose, those 4, but I think they're going to be, a good football team again.
Yeah, I got them at 8 wins myself, and with Lane Kiffin there, I think the offense will always be just fine. He's got a good offensive mind, so yeah, I'm with you there. Jose, you got anything you want to add real quick?
You guys took the words right out of my mouth. I think Lane Kiffin is one of the best offensive minds in college football. Honestly, I think he's very underrated from that front. If you guys remember, there was a game last year Ole Miss played against, I believe it was Georgia. It was at Mississippi, and Jackson Dart had gotten hurt in the first drive of the game.
Yes,
I
remember.
Yeah, and Austin Simmons came in the game, and for what it's worth, he led them a 75-yard drive, scored a touchdown, and Lane Kiffin did not. This was not like them running the ball. This was not them running gadget plays. Lane Kiffin continued to run the same offense, and Austin Simmons was, passing the ball around, looked really, really comfortable, looked really good. Just that drive alone just really proved to me that Lane Kiffin must have a lot of faith in Austin Simmons, because for him to step in there in that situation in a game you had to win and just continue to run the offense the same way as if Jackson Dart was there calling the same kind of plays, a lot of respect there Lane Kiffin must have for Simmons. And to top it off, you talked about how they added all these guys in the portal, Tyler. They did not add a quarterback. This team has money and they can go out and buy anybody they want. He must really, really like what he sees out of Austin Simmons. So for as little footage as we have of this guy, I'm as confident as you can be, if that makes sense. Because of the confidence Lane Kiffin has shown in him, I have no choice but to be confident in him as well. So I'm excited to see how he plays. But yeah, I think 8-4 sounds about right for this team.
Yeah, and I think with having Lane Kiffin there too, it'll give Austin Simmons confidence that he knows Lane Kiffin's going to make sure he has success in that offense. And let's head over now to the Gators. Billy Napier saves his job, pulls some miracle shit out of his ass with one of the hardest schedules I've ever seen. But injury news still with DJ Lagway here. The rumor is he's still hurt, and that's the big thing with this team is if Lagway's hurt, how good are they? How good could they actually be? Because a lot really is relying on him. So Jose, break down Florida for us here. What's going on with Lagway? How's this team going to be this year? Go for it.
Well, last I heard, he was in a walking boot, I believe, or some sort of like leg protection, something. It seems like he's going to be all right, but yeah, obviously coming into camp, coming into the season already banged up is never a good sign. But I can't do anything but break this team down as if he was healthy. So that's what I'm going to do. Listen, I wanted to play a game real quick before I break this team down, and I want you guys to play along with me. And I know, Brian, you can't really speak right now, but maybe just put your hands up, okay? But for Tyler and John, okay, I want you guys to stay completely silent until you hear a false statement, okay?
Okay.
DJ Lagway is a top 10 quarterback in the SEC. DJ Lagway is a top 8 quarterback in the SEC. DJ Lagway is a top 6 quarterback in the SEC. DJ Lagway is a top 5 quarterback in the SEC.
False.
DJ Lagway is a top 4 quarterback in the SEC. DJ Lagway is a top 3 quarterback in the SEC.
I'd go top 3.
Okay, so that's where you draw the line at.
Yeah.
John, you and Brian stopped it at 5. Who would you put ahead of him, John?
I would put Arch. I would put Garrett Nussmeier. I would put Lenore Sellers. I would also put Mateer, and I would also put Jackson Arnold from Auburn.
Okay, for sure I'm not putting Arnold over him. But Tyler, you said you stopped it at 3. Who did you have ahead of him?
Yeah, I got Nussmeier at 1. And then 2 was the toss-up between Lenoris or Mateer. But I give it to Lenoris.
And you got Lagway at 3?
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm buying into this team. And we talked about this team last year, right? I think we all said under with them, but that was more scheduled. But we had even pointed out that the roster, the talent on this team was there. We just were too scared to actually put money on the over because of how bad that schedule was. That was like a historically bad schedule. But talent was there. And as far as Lagway, okay, this is a former 5-star kid. He was a top 5 recruit in the country, quarterback, right? What he showed us in his freshman season, at least what he showed me, he has that, Drew Aller and Cade Klubnik did not show us anything close to what DJ Lagway showed us last year. And that's the difference when it comes to these quarterbacks and the rankings they have and whether or not they're living up to the hype. Because I saw more out of DJ Lagway than I ever saw out of Aller and Klubnik combined. And those are the cards. I mean, I know Tyler and I always like to trash on Aller. I know John's higher on him than we are this year. But still, that's what I want to see out of a freshman quarterback. I thought Lagway, for the most part, played exceptionally well last season, and I'm really, really high on him going forward. I think he has legitimate first overall pick potential in his future. The way he was able to distribute the ball, especially down the field as a freshman in the SEC, was fantastic. Really, really good to see. Billy Napier saved his job, and he was always a decent coach. At least I thought so, especially his time at ULL. But again, going into last season, he was the favorite to be the first coach fired, I believe it was. Definitely the odds-on favorite. I mean, he was definitely an odds-on favorite to be let go at some point throughout the season. But he really rallied these boys. And keep in mind, this team got absolutely smacked week 1 against Miami. I mean, they got their ass handed to them. For them to rally, for them to regroup, and for Billy Napier to steer that ship, I mean, that takes a lot of, that's a lot of respect out of his players to buy into his scheme, his game planning, because it's really, really easy to get embarrassed on national TV week 1 against your rival and just quit when you already hear the media asking for your coach to be fired. So his players must be bought in. So keep that in mind, okay, going forward for this season. When there's a situation or a game where it looks like Florida may not be able to come through, just know that his players are fighting for him. And that's big in college football, right? You want to go into every game knowing your team has your back. So you got to factor that into your win total as well. But yeah, this team has talent. I think the running back room is really, really good. Jaden Baugh really impressed me as a true freshman last year. He should be good. Receiving room, I like it a lot. Eugene Wilson comes in. Dallas Wilson is there. J. Michael Sturdivant, who I liked a lot at UCLA and Cal, he transfers over. Should have a really nice receiving room. This might be the offensive line that Billy Napier has ever had at Florida. We talked about them last year as the best O-line. For sure, this year they are the best O-line. So you support Lagway with that kind of support. I think he should really take off this season as a sophomore. Defensively, they have some stars in the team as well. Tyreek Sapp is a senior now. He should be one of the better players in the SEC. They have players like Caleb Banks, Miles Graham, a lot of talent on the defensive side of the ball. The schedule is tough. I'm not going to lie to you guys. But this is a team I want to have a piece of. I want to buy into them, so I'm going to go over on them. I still think they're a year away from really competing, for a conference championship or a national level. But I just like this team so much. They have some upside. If they did compete this year, I would not be shocked. And I think it starts with Lagway. I'm a buyer in him. I think next year might be the year where you see some Heisman buzz in the preseason for him. But yeah, as long as all goes right, this team should finish around 8 wins, 9 wins. Not quite playoffs yet, but I think the talent is there, the potential is there, the upside is there. A team I want to have a piece of, so I'll buy the over on the Gators. And yeah, I'm just a big Lagway fan.
Yeah, if he's healthy, this team will compete. They'll be good. I just worry that I see a lot of Anthony Richardson in him, always hurt here and there, nagging injuries, freak athlete, but can do it all. But yeah, if the kid's healthy, I think that he is the heart and soul of this team and can really propel them, beyond what their expectations are. Big T, what do you think?
I think the schedule may be worse than last year's, to be honest with you. It's pretty bad.
No.
It's pretty bad, dude.
You think so?
I mean,
Let
No,
me
it's
pull it
bad,
up.
but-
Go ahead, Tyler.
I got it pulled up. Like Florida State was shit last year, so it is what it is. They got whooped at Texas. I believe they do get them again. Yeah, they do get them at home. They got to go to LSU this year. They got to go to Miami, which isn't much of a road game. I honestly think I'm gonna be betting Florida that game. But they got to go to A&M, which is gonna be tough. They got to go to Ole Miss. They do get Tennessee. They do get Georgia.
They got Tech. Did you say Texas? You said Texas.
Yeah, they got A&M and Texas. This 4-game stretch kind of in the beginning of the season. LSU, at LSU, at Miami, Texas at home, and then at A&M. If they get through that, I think they'll be okay. That's a brutal little stretch there to start the year off. But if they do get through that, they'll be okay.
Yeah, I have them at 8-4.
To counter that point, that's valid. Like, yeah, the schedule is tough, but it was hard as hell last year, and they went over.
Yeah, they did.
And this team is probably better than what it was last year.
Yeah.
So
they did.
I'm just, we have to give Florida the benefit of the doubt because they just ran through the schedule last year and they did good. They went 8-5.
Yeah. And on the injury thing with Lagway, I was listening to a podcast for like 2 hours today while I was driving, and there was a guy who's real close to the Florida program, and yes, he is in a. They said he's in a boot, but he doesn't need to be in a boot. It's just like a calf thing that they're just taking like an abundance of precaution on, just to try to
Yeah. The one thing that worries me a little bit is he's only at 75%. It sounds like, which I guess they're being cautious.
Yeah,
and he has experience, and he pretty much played the whole year last year. So
yeah.
They're being I get it.
They get Long Island week 1. So
yeah, I mean they get Long Island and USF at home.
Yeah,
they don't need Lagway for that game.
Yeah.
No, I mean I'm sure there will be too, but I mean they don't need Lagway to win that game.
Yeah, no, they'll be able to win that game. So yeah, I mean he's got. I think they want to get him in that South Florida game at least, because I don't think they want his first reps of the year being at LSU at night.
Yeah.
But I think the whole his injury right now, I don't think it's near as what
it's being played as.
I think people are hitting the panic button and making the Anthony Richardson comparisons. Like he's bounds above Anthony Richardson, like as far as being able to throw the ball. I would like to see him work on his kind of like intermediate passes a little better. But I mean, he was a true freshman last year. Like that's going to come. You know what I mean? So he's bounds above Anthony Richardson. I think they know what they have. Like they have the guy on quarterback their team. So I think they're just going to be as cautious as they can be. Because I think they know like they got some dogs down there. So and they can make a splash. If everything goes right for them. So.
I can't wait to bet this guy to go to the Colts in the top 5 in next year. All right.
My favorite bet we've ever made to this day, by the way.
It's up there, dude. Because that was like a swing of emotions. Because we thought we for sure lost it. Because he was like, I think Will Levis was like minus 5,000 to be the pick.
Hey, guys, I if I remember correctly, I think Jose said he went running through the street butt naked when it happened. So,
bro,
I wasn't naked, but I did go running. I was running through the streets. Like you have no idea.
I was at my buddy's house, and as soon as I heard this, I started losing my shit.
Yeah,
as soon as I saw his name come up on the screen.
For anybody who doesn't know, like this was we had placed a draft bet like 2-3 years when Anthony Richardson got drafted. We had a place on him to be the Colts selection at like the 6th pick or something.
Yeah. And it was a pick 4. It was pick 4.
Yeah, the 4th pick, and it was like plus like 600. We hit it like at plus 800, plus 600.
We even doubled down. Yeah,
like we were tripling down on it, dude, at massive odds. And then right before the pick was announced, like Will Levis was the favorite to be drafted, like at minus 5,000. So we just all had given up hope. And then he got announced anyways, and then we just went crazy.
Yeah. But moving on here to my stomping grounds, the Tennessee Vols. I don't really know where to start here. My head's kind of spinning. I got a lot to say. I'm trying to keep it short. Tennessee Vols here. I'm about an hour from Knoxville. Nico leaves, goes to UCLA. We switch quarterbacks. Joey Aguilar comes in. I don't know. Tennessee fans are so weird. It's like Nico's our savior. Nico this, Nico that. And then this year he leaves. fuck Nico. He sucked. He's not accurate. He can't do anything. I'm glad he left. Aguilar's better. Listen, I am down on this team this year. This number is way too high. I think they go 7-5. And with Tennessee fans, that's kind of like where they panic quick. They're going to be calling for Heupel. They're going to put him on the hot. I'm just telling you now. They're going to put him on the hot seat. They're going to be calling for Heupel. The offense has struggled to Josh Heupel's standards. It has tremendously struggled. The defense has what carried this team, and the defense is what's going to have to carry this team this year as well. They've lost about everything. Dylan Sampson, pretty much the entire offensive line, the entire receiving corps, Nico, they're all gone. Maybe Heupel needed a entire reload on this team to get what he needed in there, but I'm very skeptical about this offense. The defense should be fine. I do have them. I had their schedule pulled up here. I have them losing 5 games, and I had them losing to Georgia, Alabama, Oklahoma, Florida, and Vanderbilt. I think they'll lose that game to Vanderbilt as well, with Diego Pavia coming to town. Listen, I'm concerned about, as much as you hated him, as much as people hated him here, now that he's gone, you lose Nico, and you throw in a quarterback with no experience in the system, no experience with Heupel. I don't think he fits the system at all. You lose your rushing game, you lose most of your receivers, only one starter on the line. The defense, it's going to be too much for this defense to carry this team, especially with the pace of play that Heupel likes to play ball at. The defense is going to be on the field way too long. They're going to get tired. They're going to fatigue. They're going to have injuries. This state of Tennessee and this team, or East Tennessee, whatever, is, and I've talked to Jose about this before, they're hoping and praying to God that they can get to next year. Heupel is still the coach, and Faison Brandon gets here. The people of Tennessee are waiting for Faison Brandon. It's all I've heard the last 2 years, even when Nico was here. I can't wait till Faison gets here. Faison's the answer. Faison this, Faison that. I don't know. That's how Tennessee fans are, that they grasp at these recruits and their star ratings, this and that, whatever. But yeah, they're praying to God they can get to next year, and Faison Brandon is going to be their savior and bring them back to national championship dominance or whatever. I don't know. I'm down on this team. I have them at 7-5. I think it could get ugly. I am a fan of Heupel. I hope he doesn't lose his job, or at least get on the hot seat. I don't think he'll lose his job, but Tennessee fans will be calling for it. We've seen it before with several other coaches over here at Tennessee. So yeah, I'm pretty down on this team this year.
I mean, they could be clamoring for all the quarterbacks they want. I don't care. They're going to suck. That's just how Tennessee is. All the quarterbacks that go there aren't good.
Yeah.
Joey Aguilar, I don't know how the hell this guy got the nod in Tennessee. I mean, I'm not a Joey Aguilar guy. I saw him play at App State a lot. He's fine. But the SEC like this. I'm really, really shocked. There were some rumors I saw in the offseason. I don't know if you saw them. You're looking on Tennessee tonight. But I saw offers for our boy Joshua, ECU.
Yeah, that was true.
That would have been a damn good pickup. That kind of quarterback Tennessee needs to go out. In my opinion, Joey Aguilar, no, that does not move the deal for me. I'm sorry. At this point, they're better off. What's his name? McIntyre.
Yeah,
he's like a 5-star. So I mean, might as well try him. If you're starting Joey Aguilar over a 5, that's so Heupel knows that plus. I can't imagine that 1 year of Joey Aguilar is better than trying to develop your 5-star freshman quarterback. So whatever. Look, I mean, for what guys' schedule is not like, you play Syracuse Syracuse sucks this season. You got to play ETS, That'll be yeah. You got UAB at home. You should win that one. UAB Force and Dilford, our boy Trent. You got to go Mississippi State, but that should be a win right there because they suck. And you get Arkansas. I mean, no offense, that should. You got to go to Kentucky. Kentucky's probably the second one. And you host Oklahoma. You host New Mexico State. You host Van. But I mean, this game is not that bad. So if you wanted to talk me over here based on the schedule, I wouldn't hate it. But I just can't get there just with this roster, this person. I don't trust the quarterback. I mean, I like the coach. I don't think he's bad. He did a lot of credit because I thought they played well in spite of their quarterback. Nico, I thought sucked too many times. All that well, but still, I'll say over. I'll say under, but I'll go over just based on I wouldn't pay.
Yeah, and I believe he's having a little bit of mic interference here. But yeah, he pretty much is saying, if you couldn't hear him, he was talking about the 5-star quarterback, not developing them and picking Aguilar, and he does like Heupel. But yeah, we're gonna move over. Tyler, you got anything you want to add Tennessee real quick?
No.
Yeah, are you down or?
No, yeah, under.
Yeah, under. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Let's move over here to South Carolina, a team that is receiving some hype. Lenore Sellers and Dylan Stewart. Big T, what you got to say about the Gamecocks?
First off, I want to say last year with South Carolina was a fire year. The three of us, we was rooting for South Carolina. I know I was for sure.
Yeah,
for South Carolina hard. Their defense last year was elite. I'm talking about like they caught their stride towards the end of the year, and they're one bullshit call away from beating LSU.
They should have been in the playoff.
They absolutely should have been in the playoff because they're one.
I would have bet on them.
100% would have bet on them. That's the one team that I was waiting when they were doing the rankings or whatever. That's the team I was waiting on because I was about to dump some money on them. Because that they were wreaking havoc towards the end of the year, dude. Like they're one bullshit call away from beating LSU. They're in that game with Alabama. They were right in that game the entire time. Could have won that game. I mean, even if they win one of those, I think they're in the playoff, no doubt. And it should have been LSU because I don't care what anybody says. That call was bullshit on the crack back block, whatever the fuck they ended up calling it. Look, yeah, we were all over this team as far as like on a week-to-week basis towards the end of the year, really all year. And then, betting on them against A&M, they beat the shit out of A&M. We were all over that game too. Look, they returned some dogs. I'm a big fan of Lenore Sellers. I think the development that he showed between 2 seasons ago and last year was tremendous. I think he took a huge step last year. Not only throwing the ball, I mean, we all knew he could run the ball, but like throwing the ball, I thought they did a great job. I thought he, developed real well. He's got, the physical stature. He's a fucking unicorn, at quarterback. He's got a rocket arm, and I think he's got some like legit hype around him, and for good reason. I like this team, but I'm going to tell you why I'm hesitant to pull the trigger on the over on them. They returned some absolute dogs on the offense or on the defensive line or on the defense in general. But what worries me is they had, 5 people drafted in the NFL in this last year's draft. And that's hard to replace. Now they did go hit some stuff in the portal. I am worried about the D tackles and I am worried about the linebackers. Dylan Stewart comes back. He's gonna be a true sophomore, 6.5 sacks, 3 forced fumbles a year ago. Elite player, great player. Their DN Brian Thomas Jr. Had 4.5 sacks a year ago. I think he's gonna be a good complement with Dylan there rushing the passer. They bring in Jalen Brown from Missouri on the D tackle, and they bring in Gabriel Brown-Lodindi from A&M. To kind of help shore up that D line. And then that linebacker, they bring in Justin Okoronkwo from Bama and Sean Murphy from Florida State. I don't really know how well that's going to hurt or help them there at the linebacker spot. I do have some concerns there. They bring back, Jalen Kilgore at safety, had 5 interceptions a year ago. I thought he was a pretty good player for them. And I think he's going to kind of be the leader of that secondary there. The one guy I want to talk about is Nick Harbor, because if LSU does kind of make a run or not LSU, South Carolina does make
Needs to get
a
better.
run and make strides on the offensive side of the ball, I think it's going to be because of him. An absolute freak in nature. I don't know what. I hope Shane.
He's got to get more consistent.
Yeah, he's got to get more consistent. He's got to kind of get out of his shell a little bit, and he's just kind of got to take that next step. If he does, watch the fuck out. That's all I'm saying. Like, I'm going to be all over this team again. But until he does, that's just one thing that's going to be hesitant for me. As far as them throwing the ball, they do bring in Russell Faison from Utah State. He was a 1,000-yard rusher and 8 touchdowns a year ago. I thought he was a really good back for them there at Utah State. Their win total is sitting at 7.5, and I'm not gonna lie to you, their schedule is also pretty fucking brutal. So that's kind of why I'm hesitant. And just this little stretch right here in the October stretch, going into November, they got to go to LSU. They get Oklahoma at home. They get Bama at home. They got to go to Ole Miss. They got to go to A&M, and then they play Coastal Carolina at home, and then they get Clemson at the end of the year. Outside of that Coastal game, that's a brutal stretch of teams to have to play. Some brutal road spots too at LSU, and that game's going to be at night. At A&M, I know, like, we just talked about them, but that environment at A&M is up there with some of the best. And then we're all pretty high on Clemson this year, thinking it's going to be a pretty good team, national championship, futures for John. And it seems like the past 4 or 5 years, the road team has always won this game. And if that's the case, they get to play them at home. So I'm a little concerned with that. I'm a little concerned about parts of the defense. I'm going to go slightly under just because I have question marks on the defense and the schedule, but this is a team that I will be betting on again, on a week-to-week basis.
Jose, you got anything you want to add?
Yeah, when the odds came out, like for every team in the offseason, this is like one of the first teams when I looked at the odds for.
Yeah.
This is probably like my favorite bet in the SEC. It would have been my favorite bet had the numbers stayed the same. It opened at 8.5. The win total is now down to 7.5. I'm not gonna. I think Tyler covered the team extremely well. First and foremost, like, you lose 5 guys to the NFL on that side of the ball, that's really hard to do in one off season. And for as good as Dylan Stewart was, and he is good, he's a great player. Don't get it wrong. And a true freshman last year, played fantastic. You have to wonder how much that was because of the supporting cast he had around him, right? Like, other teams game plan around Dylan Stewart. They were game planning for the other players in the team, right? You couldn't really you couldn't really have offensive linemen shift to his side or help chip on Dylan Stewart because you had other NFL guys on that same defensive line. You had to go help out. So we'll see how good Dylan Stewart really is, but I do expect somewhat of a step back, or at least not as big of a step forward as maybe other people are anticipating out of Dylan Stewart. So keep that in mind. Offensively, yeah, like they have the names, like Nick Harbor. He's a great name. Like, he's a fantastic player, and don't get it wrong. On his day, if he's playing the way he's supposed to play, he could play. He's a fantastic player, one of the best players in the conference, but he's just not consistent, right? He needs to get better at that. He needs to win more reps. And if he plays at the way he can play for 80-90% of the time, yeah, he's going to be an all-SEC type player. But until he shows us that, I can't put money on him. So I have to work, at least with him. Lenore Sellers, I'm a big fan of. I think he's a star. I think he's one of the best players in the conference. I think I really think this guy has Heisman potential in his future. Maybe not going forward in the next year or so. He has potential to win the Heisman. Shane Beamer, I'm a fan of him as a coach. I know he has kind of a unique coaching style, but I do think that likes to coach and the system at South Carolina is good. So a lot of back and forth with that, but the real what's the word? Tiebreaker for me to go under on this team was the schedule Tyler talked about. I mean, this schedule is no joke, guys.
It's bad.
For a team that really wants to compete at that level, this is not the schedule you have. Not to mention your 2 non-con games are Vatech, which is not going to be easy, and you got to play in the year 2 ACC teams. Yeah, I'm going to go under with South Carolina. As much as I loved them last year, I feel like I'm paying a premium based on what I saw last year, and it's just not the same roster, guys. It's really not.
Yeah.
I'll go under with South Carolina. But if they prove me wrong, I'll be more than happy. Like, I would love to bet this team again. But as of right now.
Yeah, I have this team kind of middle of the road. I was high on them. I kind of was on the hype juice from last year, and then I kind of settled it down a little bit. But one team that I do like a lot, this is my dark horse. I'm a fan of this Oklahoma team here. I'll tell you why. A few things here. John Mateer comes over from Washington State. Not only does he come over, though, they bring in their offensive coordinator with him, Ben Arbuckle. And one thing that I think about of Washington State is that they score points. They get the ball around. They're good passing. So Mateer comes in. Arbuckle comes in to take over one of the worst offenses in the country last year. Not even the SEC, but the country. 119th in passing yards a game, 113th in total offense. And listen, I think this offense is going to turn it around fairly quickly with Mateer and the offensive coordinator. Mateer doesn't really have that much of a learning curve. He knows what he's doing in this offense and how to run it. And the other big thing here is Jaden Ott coming in from Cal. I do have him as one of the best in the country. I think that he is going to really be a game changer for this team. And it's going to help Mateer open it up. I really like how this team makes up to be a dark horse. I know the schedule is kind of brutal, but I think this team gets in the playoffs. They're my dark horse to get in. I think they'll be 9-3, and they're just barely going to sneak in for the simple fact that they're going to win some tough games. Mateer, he is. If I had to pick a Heisman dark horse, it would be him for me. You think about how Oklahoma was so bad on offense last year. Well, the offense coordinator is really going to change. You're going to see kind of a different style from this team on offense. Defense will be elite. And the big thing on the defensive side of the ball here is Brent Venables is taking over calling the defensive plays for Oklahoma. What he's known for, what he's good at, I think that is going to be huge for this Oklahoma team. A bunch of stars, edge rushers are Mason Thomas, tackle Grayson Halton, playmakers at linebacker, and Kip Lewis, and safety Robert Spears. I think this is going to be one of the best defenses in the SEC. And the more that they can get Mateer the ball, off the ball, and kind of do their thing, I think it's going to be a recipe for success this year. And it all starts on the coaching and trickles down to some of these really good elite players that they brought in. Mateer, he's a dual threat, game changer. Venables calling plays on defense again. Good recruiting class. You look at the schedule here. I know it's tough, but I do. I have this team. They'll beat Illinois State, Michigan, and Norman. I think they'll win that game. That's going to be a great game. 6:30 p.m. It looks like. They'll beat Temple. They get Auburn and Norman. I think they'll win that game. Kent State. Then you got to play Texas. I'll have them losing that game. You got to go to South Carolina, but I do think they are going to handle South Carolina. You play Ole Miss in Norman. You got to play Tennessee in Knoxville, but like I said, I'm down on Tennessee this year. You'll lose to Alabama in Tuscaloosa. You're going to beat Missouri, and you're going to lose to LSU, in my opinion. So I have them at that 9-3. And I do think that they'll go over their win total. I think they really could sneak into the playoffs here. And if they do sneak into the playoffs, I think Mateer could kind of be maybe that dark horse for the Heisman. But yeah, I really like this Oklahoma team. I've been trying to find edges and ways to bet this team. So yeah, I'm really high on them. Tyler, you got anything you want to add over on Oklahoma?
No, I think if they get just the slightest upgrade on offense, they're going to be just fine. Defense for them hasn't been the problem. It's been offense. And that wasn't all Jackson Arnold. It was partly Jackson Arnold, but it wasn't all Jackson Arnold. But they were bad, like real bad.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if they get just the slightest upgrade, I do think they're going to be pretty good. And I'm a big John Mateer fan. I think he's phenomenal. I think he's a fantastic quarterback. So, I think they'll be pretty good.
Yeah. Jose, you got anything you want to add?
I mean, it's really hard to compete at a high level when your top 5 receivers are all hurt, because that's what Oklahoma had. Like that's throughout the middle part of the season last year, they had no talent at the receiver position. So it's really, really hard to process, or at least to try and figure out how good this team was last year from the standpoint. But I do want to add something real quick. And if my camera was, you would see my Trojan hat on. But I do want to go off on a little bit of a tangent real quick, because as you guys know, the current head coach for USC Lincoln Riley came from Oklahoma. And before he came, these Oklahoma fans ran him out of town because all they said was that he couldn't coach defense. Pass, and they didn't care how good they didn't care how good the offense was. The defense was terrible, and they wanted someone who had a defensive mindset. Okay, well, guess what? You went out and you got someone with a defensive mindset. Defensive mindset. Brent Venables. You bring him in, and yeah, I'll give you credit. Your defense is elite. Like their defense this year is going to be fantastic. It was fantastic last year. Guess what? That's good enough for 6 wins. Are you happy with that, Oklahoma fans, or do you want Lincoln Riley back? Because when Lincoln Riley was there, and they didn't play a lick of defense, they were still playing in college football playoff games. They were playing against Alabama in the Sugar Bowl and the Rose Bowl and all these crazy games against Georgia. Remember that game, John, when they went back and forth against Georgia?
Yeah.
Go average Oklahoma fan. What would you rather watch? A 6-6 team, or you rather watch a team with Lincoln Riley leading the helm and they go out there with Baker Mayfield and lose a shootout 44-41 in double overtime in the Rose Bowl, okay? Be careful what you wish for, Oklahoma fans. And this goes for every fan out there, okay? The grass is not always green on the other side.
That's right.
I think he's gonna right the ship at USC. I'm fine with it. But I can tell you guys right now, I know every single Oklahoma fan in the world would want Lincoln Riley back. They were having a lot more fun when they were losing shootouts in the college football playoff than losing 10-7 against a 5-6 Vanderbilt team. I'm sorry. Careful what you wish for. Be careful what you wish for, because you just might get it.
Yeah.
Done.
Real quick, Jose. Do you think Ben Arbuckle here can help transform this offense, or do you think it won't be enough? Honestly,
I think offensive coordinator. Honestly, I rate him higher than John Mateer. I think getting the Arbuckle higher is better than getting John Mateer. I'm not a John Mateer guy, to be honest with you guys. I think Arbuckle quality OC. So I think not even for this season, for the future of OU, I think that was a great hire, because I think Arbuckle is that good of an OC. And again, I rate him higher than Mateer. I think Mateer's okay. I'm not the biggest fan of his, but I like the higher Arbuckle. And when you pair them together, obviously that's a really, really good sign.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we're going to skip over Auburn here. That is going to be the last team we cover. We have Brian Wood coming on to talk about Auburn. We are going to head over to Missouri. Jose, what do you got on Missouri this year?
Yeah, it's kind of a weird team to break down, guys, because the roster, the personnel, the talent, I'm not a big fan of, right? They bring in Bo Pribula to be the quarterback this year. You got to win 8 games to get over your win total, I believe it is, right? 8.5. That's what I have on my screen. Or
I'll
7.5.
I'll look it up. Go ahead.
But to get to that number, you got to be able to throw the ball. And we don't really know if Pribula can throw the ball. I mean, he couldn't beat Fowler, and Fowler can't throw, so I can only assume that Pribula can't throw. But yeah, I'm just not a big fan of this roster, to be honest with you guys. I think Ahmad Hardy at the running back comes in from a ULM, I think it was. He was first team All Sun Belt last year as a true freshman. I like his game a lot, but again, we got to see how he goes over to the SEC. But for what it's worth, at ULM, this guy tore it up. And I watched a few games of his last year. He looked like the real deal.
Yeah. Sorry to interrupt you. We got over 7.5 plus 120 over at DraftKings for Missouri.
That's what I had on my screen too, but I thought it might have been a typo. Yeah, to get to 8 to win, guys, in the SEC is pretty damn tough. Now, what I will say Missouri has going for them is this schedule. I mean, this might be one of the easiest schedules in the conference. Listen, you got to play against Central Arkansas, week 1. That's going to be a win. You play Kansas at home. That's a win. You play Louisiana at home. That's a win. You play South Carolina at home. That's a toss-up, but you never know. You can win that game. Then you play UMass at home. That's probably going to be a win. Then you get a bye. Then you play Alabama at home. I mean, you're probably going to lose that game. But what do all 6 of those games have in common? You're playing them at home. Their first 6 games are all at home. They don't leave the state of Missouri until October 18th. That's over 7 weeks into the season. They only play 4 true road games this entire year. But to have that kind of scheduling bonus or whatever you want to call it, I mean, that's a hell of a leg up to have on every other team in the conference. To play your first almost 2 months all at home, that's really, really good for any team. So Missouri, they had that going for them, I guess. So if you want to go over with Missouri, I don't hate it, just based on that schedule alone. But overall, I just don't think this team has the talent. I got to see Maud or Pribula, to be honest with you guys. They lose both their top receivers as well, Theo Weiss, who was a dog, and of course Luther Burden, who's in the NFL now. Those are going to be 2 big guys to replace. But yeah, I mean, defense should be okay. I'm kind of a Drinkwitz guy. I don't really feel too strongly about him either way, but I think he's a good coach, and I think he fits the system here in Missouri pretty well. Yeah, I'm gonna go, I guess, slightly over, just because of how I'm not easy, but how what's the word, or opportune the schedule is. But yeah, this is kind of like a middle of the pack team for me in the SEC, guys. I don't really feel too strongly about them either way. They're not like a fun. I don't think they're gonna be like a fun team to watch or anything. Like some of these other teams, they're gonna be excited to see. Like South Carolina, like that should be a fun team to watch. That we think it's gonna be middle of the pack. I think Missouri might be a pretty boring team to watch. But I mean, yeah, I'll go over for the purpose of the podcast, but don't feel strong about it.
Didn't Missouri have like one of the easy schedules last year too? Who are making
They
these
have
schedules?
for like 3 years in a row.
Who's making?
Yeah, I
these
mean, they went 10-3 last year, guys. I mean, and I think was it last year that Drinkwitz was like crying for them to get into the playoff or something like that?
Yeah.
I think it was, and we were like, no, us like, there's no way. But yeah, their schedules they get a lot of breaks. They get a lot of breaks.
I don't know who's making these schedules. I could coach some of these. To play teams with these schedules.
To play the first 2 months of the season all at home, like that's ridiculous. I've never even heard of that before. Come on now.
Yeah, that's crazy. We see a big drop off here from plus 6,000 to plus 15,000. Last team we're going to cover outside of Auburn, Arkansas, the Homicide Hogs. Big T is the big drop here. Is it warranted? Is this one of the bottom tier teams in the country? What are you thinking here?
First of all, before we get back to Missouri just for a second, like I don't think the roster. I like the under quite a bit for Missouri. I don't think the roster is very good. I think they had good receivers. You know, like you mentioned with Theo Weiss and Luther Burden. If they had just the slightest bit of a harder schedule, I'm not even saying a brutal schedule, just a little bit harder schedule, they don't win near as many games. I don't think their roster has been very good. You know, outside of a handful of players. To be 100% honest with you, I'm not a Drinkwitz fan either. I actually can't stand it.
Wow.
But they have gotten favored so like big time on their scheduling to be able to win those many games.
I'm gonna look at their schedule for next year.
But to be fair, like a lot of teams get scheduling breaks. Like at least Missouri actually wins those games. Like a lot of teams
they do.
To be fair, they do win these games.
They do. Now to go on my second tangent. You know who doesn't get these breaks is the University of Arkansas. I don't know who at the university pissed whoever makes these schedules off, but give them some money. I mean, take them on a vacation, send them somewhere, do something, dog. Like I'm sick of it. I'm gonna go on a little tangent. I'm sick of this team. I'm sick of turning on the TV and we're losing by 45 to fucking ULM. I'm telling you right now, on week 3, September 20th, when we play at Memphis, I'm gonna be betting Memphis. I'm fucking sick of this team, dude. I'm sick of it. I don't know what Sam. You know, Sam. I like Sam. Don't get me wrong. I like Sam. I do. Great guy. Get the fuck out of town. Why are we bringing him back?
No.
Yes, dude. Like for what? For what? We're gonna bring you back. Oh, another 6-6 season. Then see you bye. Get the fuck out of here, dude. He had one good year at 8-4. Don't get me wrong.
But Taylor Green's got some magic, man. He's gonna make.
I'm not a. Taylor Green guy.
but listen. Like what? What's the actual ceiling for Arkansas as a program? Like do you guys expect CFP at some point? Like what is it? Like historically,
I mean, not for a while. Just because when he took over this program, it was in such a dumpster fire. But I mean, bad.
I mean, obviously, for every team in the country, right, your goal is to win a national championship. But I mean, really, like, what is the goal for Arkansas here? It's one of the hardest jobs in the country, to be fair.
It is.
Would you be happy if they were like Tennessee and they went 8-5, or
I would be happy with
8-4,
100%.
8-4,
no,
whatever.
Goal to make the CFP, like, is that your guys' like not this season, obviously, but like going forward, is that like the program goal? Like Alabama, their goal is to win a national championship, right? Ohio State goal is to win a national. Is the program goal for Arkansas to make the CFP? Is that what it is, or to host a playoff game?
If you talk to the majority of Arkansas fans, I would say yes. I don't think we're anywhere close to being that yet, but Arkansas fans are also delusional and they're also brutal.
Brian wants that. Brian asks, is it going to take a new coach to kind of take the next step for this Arkansas team?
I mean, it's going to have to take. I mean, we got to do something. I think, to be honest with you, like we got Tyson pitching in to. This is what pisses me off about Arkansas. Arkansas is the only thing we got in this fucking state. That's it. We ain't got nothing else as far as sports go. That's the only thing we got.
You got Coach Cal.
Yeah,
The money, but it's not going to football. What are your thoughts on that?
That's my beef. It's going to basketball. Other shit.
All that Tyson Nuggets. All that Tyson Nuggets money is going to basketball.
And do you guys not like basketball or something? Like the team is a lot. Like they made the Elite Eight last year. They probably should have made the final. Did they make the Elite Eight or was it the Sweet 16?
No, like we're good with basketball and we're even good with baseball. But like football, like
It's
I
number
don't think we're getting hardly any money to the football program. We got Tyson,
But football,
you know,
number one, right?
huh?
Football is number one. Like you guys, that's the number one sport over there. Like right, like you guys
Yeah,
care about.
100%.
Is
And
it
we're
even close
shit.
to basketball or no? Like
Huh?
is basketball a close second or no? Is it football? It's not even close.
No, I would say baseball, honestly. Like they're
Really?
Arkansas baseball is huge.
Arkansas
Yeah.
baseball is like big, like huge. Like
Wow.
people, they like their baseball over here, and they really like basketball too. Like they're all pretty close within the three of each other. They really are. I wouldn't say one's like leaps and bounds above, each other. They're all pretty close because it's the only thing we got. Like there's nothing else. Like the only other thing we got is Arkansas State, out in the middle of nowhere in East Arkansas, and then Central Arkansas and FCS. That's all we got. Like we don't have anything else here. So like everything. But I heard too. I heard that Tyson's not giving any money to the Arkansas program until Pittman's gone. And if that's the case, what the fuck are we waiting on, bro? Get him out. Like, and I don't say that because I like Pittman. I do like Pittman, and we had lost like 16 straight SEC games whenever he had took the job over, and I thought, well, here we go. Like it's not going to be much better. And what he gave us a little glimmer of hope as far as like, okay, maybe we're not as bad, as we have been these past few years.
To be honest with you.
Huh?
I was kind of surprised they gave him the job when they did, to be honest with you.
I was too, but I think like a lot of the reason he got the job is because there was a lot of alumni, and I mean a lot of alumni who advocated for him to get the job. And I think, him coming from Georgia, and that's when, Georgia was going undefeated and, had 5-star dudes, NFL dude, NFL roster out there on the field. And so they, I think that was kind of the thinking behind it, to be honest with you. Mainly the alumni, like every player that's ever played for Sam Pittman was like, hell yeah. So I think that had a lot to do with it.
Well, who do you want then? Like, who's the coach? Is it Rhett Lashley? Is that who you guys want?
I mean, I would take Rhett Lashley over Pittman, to be honest with you. I would. I think Rhett recruits better. And you see what he can do with money. I mean, that's how SMU is. And if that's what it takes to get the money into the program, to be honest with you, as long as, they're not just a dog shit coach, I really don't, If we can get the money in there, I'm not that picky, to be honest with you. But like, if that's the case, if that truly is the case, but between Tyson and Walmart and JB Hunt, I mean, there's 3 different multi-billion-dollar companies up there. Why we're not better than what we are, like why we're settling for 6-6 is beyond me. Like, I just don't understand it. Now, when it comes to this roster, I'm not a big Talon fan. I think if there's anybody who could get it out of him, it is Bobby. So there is that, upside, I guess, but I'm still not the biggest Talon fan. I think he throws a really good D-ball, and, obviously he's a unicorn, athlete-wise. I think the intermediate throws he really struggled with. I remember watching him last year. I think getting the ball out on time he really struggled with. I don't know if it was the offense or if, going from Boise to Arkansas, that jump in from the Mountain West to the SEC was part of it. He just and he looked confused. Like there was at times where he just didn't look like he knew where he wanted to go with the ball, he knew when to get the ball out, and he couldn't just make his mind up, make a decision to throw the football. And so if that is like his main thing as far as, things to polish up on, I think that can be coached with Bobby. And, Bobby did it at Louisville with Lamar, and I'm not even remotely close for comparing the two. I'm just saying similar playing styles. I think Bobby can do it. But we also get poached in the transfer portal with a handful of guys that we do get that are pretty good. We only return 6 starters on both sides of the ball total. We got 3 on offense and we got 3 on defense, and that's it. So it's going to be a completely new roster. Now, I will say we did get some offensive linemen finally, and that's one thing that's also been my biggest beef with Sam is, he's supposed to be this offensive line guy. To be honest with you, our offensive line has fucking sucked for, just about the majority of the time he's been here. Mm-hmm. So that's kind of really pissed me off. But we did get some guys in the portal. We got Shaq McCroy from Oregon. We got Corey Robinson from Georgia Tech. And I know they're really high on them coming in. And then because, especially Corey Robinson, I think he was kind of really hyped coming in because, Brent Key's an offensive line guy there at Georgia Tech. So, like, he's going to be a well-coached player. We get Omega Blake coming in, a wide receiver from Charlotte. Jaden Platt coming in at the tight end spot from A&M. Julian Neal, a corner, coming in from Stanford. Our entire team is going to be transfers because we just didn't return anybody. We did bring in a top 15 transfer portal class, so I guess we'll see how it goes. But until this team shows me anything different, there's no way that I can, bet on this team and expect anything differently, to be honest with you. So win total's at 5.5. I mean, yeah, best case scenario, 6-6.
You know what's sad?
Wow.
You know what's sad? I just typed in Arkansas schedule, and the top things that pop up here: Arkansas Razorback men's basketball team will face Sweet 16 team. Arkansas men's basketball schedule release. Arkansas men's basketball schedule. Arkansas school dates. Arkansas women's basketball schedule.
Yeah.
There is not a single thing about football schedule till halfway down the page.
Because we're not any good.
Well, maybe
we're just not.
Maybe they're trying to shield your eyes because the schedule is fucking brutal.
It's bad, dude.
It's bad. It's one of the worst I've seen. So maybe that's why they're doing.
This is brutal. Yeah.
Yeah. Our road games are
being set up, and they don't
Miss.
See how bad it is.
Yeah, our road games are at Ole Miss, at Memphis, at Tennessee, at LSU, and at Texas. And then at home, we get fucking Notre Dame, we get A&M, we get Auburn, and Missouri.
Yeah.
Like,
that's pretty bad.
We're not winning, dude. There's no way we're winning 6 games. Like, I'm not 100%. I'm not convinced we're gonna beat fucking Memphis at Big 3. Like, wow.
Yeah.
I'm just not, dude.
One thing you can count on for Auburn or for Arkansas is to make that one game upset somewhere on that schedule. They'll have that one big upset that will make the fans happy and get them through the year.
For me, it's going to be either Notre Dame or A&M. And the only reason I say Notre Dame is because they did lose to Northern Illinois. It's hard to be Magic. They did lose to Northern Illinois. They have lost to Marshall. They have lost to Stanford.
Yeah.
And they're starting a true freshman quarterback. And as bad as we suck, the stadium gets lit.
Yeah.
It's loud. So
we saw what they did to Nico last year.
Yeah, and the A&M game is not at Jerry's World anymore. It's actually on campus. So it's going to be in Fayetteville. It's going to be at night. So, that's going to be different too.
Nico clearly was going to win the Heisman until that game.
What I tried by top. Shocked. Let it all out.
Right. But, Brian, to answer your question on looking for a new coach, like Brian Kelly or Mark Freeman, if Sam Pittman gets fired, it's going to be Bobby. I'm telling you right now. It's gonna, I think they knew when they hired him, it was going to be Bobby.
Hashing at that point. Like, why? Like, you need to get some fresh blood in there.
Get Kenny Dillingham or something, man.
It'll be Bobby. I hope it's Kenny. That would be fire. But I think it's going to be Bobby because when they hired Bobby went to the basketball game. And when they announced Bobby and put him on the camera, that place went crazy. Yeah. And I think everybody.
I think it's going to be Lashley.
I think everybody just remembers, the Bobby Petrino the first time he was around, where we were ranked number 3 in the country. I think that's what they see when they think Bobby Petrino. So I think that's why. But
I think it's going to be Lashley.
I hope. I really do.
Tyler just wants someone new to come to Arkansas and turn this program around. He's tired of him. He's tired of hearing about Tyson Chicken Nuggets giving money to the basketball team.
I'm just tired of being bad. Like,
Woo pig. Hey, look, I don't care. I'm not gonna shit on Arkansas because we bet on Arkansas every single game in the playoff and the March Madness last season. They won
absolutely.
Yeah, for what it's worth. Yeah, I had a future on Arkansas, so
you'll never say a bad word about Cal.
Yeah, but and I know Tyler's not the biggest fan, but I do think Talon can get it out of him a couple games here and there and win some of those bigger games. And so we are going to move on now to Auburn, a team that a lot of people are high on, a team that a lot of people don't know what to think on. And we have Brian Wood coming in to kind of talk about this Auburn team. His teams are usually Notre Dame and Auburn that he is following. And so let's bring him on. Brian.
Yeah,
good to have you on and talk about this Auburn football team a little bit.
Man, so the last 4 years, I don't think we've had a winning season since 2019. Been 5-7, 5-7, 5-7, 5-7. been pretty painful for the last few years. But here's what's unique about that 5-7 last year. Going into it, we're excited for what we got now. But like you look at that 5-7, and there were about 4 games that we sold. I want to say, Vanderbilt, Missouri, Arkansas, and the more notable one, Oklahoma. That pick 6 by Peyton Thorne to lose that game. Because you look at our numbers, 29th, in offense, 31st in defense. We're on a bad team. And this year we're expecting to be better, especially on offense. You see the addition of Jackson Arnold this year, and Jose mentioned it. I think it was Jose. He was missing his top 5 receivers by the midway point last year, and then you also added on top of that, he had an defensively minded head coach. That offense just was not functional. He's added to a pretty stout offense, and the sheer fact that they've got a lot of wide receiver weapons now. We add Eric Singleton from Georgia Tech. We had Horatio Fields from Wake Forest, who is a pretty solid receiver for them as well. We have, oh my God, let me get the roster up. I'm completely blanking on the name. Cam Coleman and, Perry Thompson, who, according to some numbers I read, they clocked him at 21.87 miles an hour when they clocked his speed. And that's insane speeds there, dude. He's 6'3", 220 pounds as well. So it makes him an absolute freak of an athlete at that position. I mean, so 4 or 5 deep at that wide receiver position, looking to give Jackson Arnold some pretty good weapons. I mean, we got a good running back room. The offensive line looks to be incredible though. With the 6-man rotation that we have, they are charted to have, I think it is 139 career starts between them. So there's a very veteran presence to work with on this offensive line. I think that sets them up to do pretty well defensively. They have Keldrick Falk, and it's an Auburn defense. It's always going to be pretty good. But I think the key point here is really, what is the quarterback play going to be like? Again, Peyton Thorne, outside of those horrific turnovers, he was actually a statistically pretty decent quarterback. If we can cut down on horrific mistakes and just play smart football as an Auburn team, I'm not saying we're making the CFP, but I think the ceiling's probably going to be a 8 or 9 win season for us. I think it's over on the on their win projection. I think they're at 7.5 right now.
Yeah, I have it pulled up on the screen. It's over 7.5 minus 160 at DraftKings.
Yeah, and I mean, if you look at the schedule, I mean, it is doable. I know you mentioned they would probably lose to Oklahoma, and I don't think he's going to be able to go back home to where the fans already just didn't like him. They're gonna make his life hell there. I think that's almost a guarantee loss there. We start the year on the road at Baylor. I think we can pull that game off. I think we do have the weapons to win that game. And we take on Ball State and South Alabama. Those should be pretty much gimmies. So at that point, I'm thinking 3-0.
I will say, I think that Baylor Auburn game is going to set the tone for both of those teams for the season. Whoever wins that game, it's going to set the tone for whichever team wins.
If we lose that game, I mean, it could easily be another 5-7 campaign, especially if it severely affects the confidence of Arnold. I mean, you saw what happened when he wasn't mentally in it. They had I'm sure how long did they bench him last year? 3-4 games?
Yeah, I think it was 3 games.
Yeah. So, I mean, his confidence is an issue. If you start him off with, a terrible game and then he doesn't perform against Ball State, I mean, could be looking at, what's his face? Former Stanford quarterback Ashton Daniel, or worst case scenario, they throw Deuce Knight into the equation right off the bat. And I don't think that's the best move for him either. But then you go further down the schedule, and I mean, I think the A&M game's a toss-up. I mean, we always seem to play that team really tough. For whatever it's worth, we always beat them when we're not supposed to. They beat us when they're not supposed to. We get a bye week. Then we've got Georgia and Missouri both at home. I don't think we're beating the Bulldogs. I just don't. I don't think we're ready quite yet. I think we beat Missouri. Then we face Arkansas, and for whatever reason, Arkansas kind of has our number in certain games. That's an easy game that we could drop. I know Tyler's not really high on them because of the schedule, but I could see, Fayetteville just going raucous and causing us issues. Then we got Kentucky and Vandy. I think we got to get back on Vandy. I don't think we struggle with Kentucky. We get our glorified bye week against Mercer. And then I think we do pull off a win against Bama. I think, we lost last year because we consistently bit ourselves in the ass offensively. I think if the offense moves the ball well, it's capable. Again, 9-win, high water mark for us. Again, 5 wins, kind of the floor, but it's a really mixed bag. I'm still not convinced either way on this one. I think they do hit the over, but maybe by half that game, by an 8. But I could easily see a 6-6, 5-7 season with the schedule. It's a see it and believe it kind of year for me with them.
Yeah, I'm wholeheartedly with you here. I do think this team has a lot of upside, especially at the wide receiver position. You kind of give Jackson Arnold someone to throw to, kind of have to see what happens. I have them at 8-4 personally. I think they lose to Baylor. I think they lose on the road to Oklahoma. I think they lose to Georgia, and I think they lose to Alabama. I do think they pull out a tough win against A&M. But yeah, I have this team at 8-4. I think they're headed in the right direction here. And they're going to right the ship. Jose, Tyler, y'all got anything you want to add to this Auburn team?
Yeah, I'm not quite there on Auburn yet, to be honest with you. I'm not saying they're going to be a bad team. I'm just not quite there to, say they're going to win 8 or 9 games. I'm not the biggest Jackson Arnold fan. I'm definitely not a huge Freeze fan. You look at this, this team from last year was like Arkansas beat them at home. Oklahoma beat them at home without Jackson. And I don't remember if y'all watched that game, but that game was fucking nuts. There was like a pick six or fumble recovery or something.
Pick six by Peyton Thorne literally sealed the deal. We had been winning pretty much from the opening until that point, and we trailed it for a minute and a half.
Cal went to Auburn and beat them. Vanderbilt went to Auburn and beat them. That Auburn A&M game was absolutely insane. There's no way I can kind of look at that and then look at the schedule this year and think that they're going to go out and win 8 or 9 games. I'm not there with this team yet, so I'm gonna go under.
Okay,
Jose.
I tell you guys that this is my dark horse to win the SEC. I think as a lot of, I am a Jackson Arnold fan. I think he has gotten the short end of the stick. His first couple, had no receivers whatsoever. He has a bonehead head, doesn't know what he's doing to call the offensive side of the ball. Overall, he had no running game whatsoever. He had to do everything himself. Okay. Now, look, I'm not going to sit here and say that he's some transcendent quarterback. He's not. But I think he's better than what he's shown us. And I love the receiver. Eric Singleton Jr. they got from Georgia Tech, guys. If you guys haven't seen him play, anybody watching this, this guy is really good. They dropped the back. I'm glad they got him because he is a really, really good player. Cam Coleman, like Brian talked about, he's got former 5-star recruits, guys, like blue chip guys. They're getting into their second year now in college. They should be better progressing. I just think there's a lot of talent on this roster. Defensively, they're talked about, right? There's not really that many holes in the defensive side of the ball. In fact, they won 5 games last year was because of their defense. You pair it with a good offense, they're gonna really take off. The schedule is tough on paper. I think, John talked about that Baylor game is gonna be nuts. I think that's a Friday night game, a primetime Friday. That's going to be a hell of a game for us to watch together. But that's going to be the real tone setter. If they can get by that game, which if you guys follow the lines, there's some money coming out on Auburn because they were +1. I think it was this morning. Now they're -2.5. So
I'll pull it up for you.
Yeah, -2.5 on ESPN right now.
Yeah, they were +1 this morning, and I got the notification earlier today the line moved. So somebody is dropping some money on Auburn. They think they're going to Waco and walk out with the dub, and I don't either. So again, there's some respected money obviously in the market that's back in the Tigers in week 1. They got to go to Oklahoma. They'll win that game. They'll be 4-0. They got to go to Texas A&M. They can win that game too. That's not out of the realm of possibility. They win that game too. They could be 5-0 heading into that break. They come out of the break off of Georgia at home. I'm not Georgia's biggest fan this year. That's a winnable game in my opinion. I'm not saying they're gonna win all these games, but these are games they could win. You told me they beat Georgia at home off a bye. You told me they beat Oklahoma on the road. I would not be shocked. I would not sit here and say, "Oh my, God, they're gonna win." They're all talking to the fact they win. Now, are they gonna win them? Of course not, but they could. Missouri, like they could win at home.
Yeah.
At Arkansas, win that game, right? Kentucky at home, absolutely, you're gonna win that game for sure. At Vanderbilt, you can win that game at all. And I know we're not talking about Vanderbilt this podcast, but let me say one thing Vanderbilt had going for them last year is that they were Vanderbilt, and no one expected them to be any good. Now we see how good. No one's gonna expect Vanderbilt to be ass. You know what I mean? So, are you gonna be ready for Vanderbilt this year? I'm sure you are. They could win.
Probably.
Play Mercer, and you play Alabama. You probably won't win now. And again, I'm not saying you're going to win every single game I just named, but if you told me, God, the roster we have, I think it's fine. Again, I'm not a fan either. He has to produce this year, Brian. I don't think if he doesn't get at least a bowl, he's gone. At the
Oh,
very
he's got
least,
to go. I mean, you can't go like 3 straight seasons under 500 on the Plains and expect to have your job. I mean, we had one
And
bad year my freshman year at Auburn with Tommy Tuberville, and we canned that man without question.
Yeah, I mean, look,
And that he had tenure.
I'm not even saying a bowl save his job. I'm just saying at the very least he has to get to a bowl. He has to get to 6-6, and then,
Yeah, dude.
depending on who we lost to. Yeah, I'm a big believer in this team, guys. I really, really like the roster. I like the personnel. I'm gonna go over total. I don't know what the odds are, John, for this team to make the CFP. Maybe you could pull it up real quick.
Yeah.
But if they're intriguing enough, I would take a stab on it. I don't hate it. I want the team, and that's how I'll take it. So give me the over and give me to make the CFP, whatever it is. I'm gonna guess it's around like 400, 500.
Plus 400.
Okay, yeah. Maybe if you could find like a 5 out there, +5, that'd be enough for me to bite. 5 to 1 money. So I'm gonna. Which one of you guys went over? But whoever did, I'm gonna join you and say over on Auburn.
Yeah, I agree here. And so we're going to kind of start wrapping up our SEC breakdown here. I'm looking at some college football playoff specials right quick. Over 3.5 is -190 for SEC teams to make the college football playoff. I think they could get 5 teams in. What do you guys think?
Well, Alabama's going to get in.
Yeah.
And Texas is going to get in no matter what. I guess you have to put Georgia there. I don't feel as confident as you guys do maybe, but I would put Georgia there. Who's got 4?
Fourth would probably be LSU, huh?
Yeah.
Is that their best bet? Is it the best team, like the best option they have for their teams?
Yeah. I think I have 5 in. I have 5 in. I have Texas, Georgia, Alabama, LSU, Oklahoma.
Okay. I can't get to 5.
So
Pull
that
back.
would put me. So hang on, let me make sure my math's right though. So that puts me at. So we start the ACC. I have Clemson as their representative. The Big 12. I have my Jayhawks as the representative. The SEC. I have the Big 10. I'm sorry. I have Penn State. And then you got Georgia, Texas, LSU, Alabama, Oklahoma. Yeah, so that's 8 teams right there. So yeah. I think they can get 5 in. I think those 5 do get in.
I mean, I don't
think
just
they'll have at least 2.
Well, the big I mean, you didn't count Ohio State. They're gonna get in.
Yeah, Ohio State's gonna get in.
Yeah. Ohio State, Penn State. And I even think they'll get one more. That still puts me at 10 and you got to get a G5. So that leaves room for one more team to get in, either from the Big 10 or maybe the ACC probably.
I mean, 5 to get in. I don't know who they're going to be, but I mean, at the end of the day, you're probably right. They will get 5 teams in. It's really hard for me to tell you who it's going to be.
Yeah.
And who is going to be the SEC champion this year? I have Georgia playing LSU, and I'm going to take Georgia.
I got Bama playing LSU, and I'm going to take Bama.
Jose, I know you got Bama, right?
I got Bama over Texas.
Beat Magic?
I have no play on this one. I think the SEC, like in that upper half, it's really a toss-up on who's going to make it. Like it's really just about health and how you play your schedule. So I actually have no bet on who that conference champions are going to be here.
Yeah. All right. Well, that is going to wrap up our last P4 conference, the SEC. Next week, we're going to have a little bit of fun. We're going to go over some awards. We're going to each give a G5 winner, why they're going to win and make the playoffs, and kind of go from there and then start heading into week 0. We're getting close to week 0. So next week is an awards and G5 show. And yeah, we appreciate everyone tuning in over on Twitch, on YouTube. Podcasts are being uploaded to Apple and Spotify. My boy Big T been working hard on those. He got the Big 12 ACC up over on Apple and Spotify, so y'all go check those out. We'll be getting the SEC and we'll be getting the SEC uploaded and the Big Ten uploaded as well this week. But yeah, so we appreciate y'all. Give us a like, subscribe, whatever you want to do. Keeps us going. We appreciate the support. And yeah, we're getting close, fellas. Brian, thanks for coming on again here and breaking down Auburn for us. So, guys, you got anything you want to add real quick before we head out?
No, sir.
Yeah.
Minutes.
All right. Well, we appreciate everyone tuning in. Y'all have a great night. I know it's a little bit of a longer one, but we appreciate y'all hanging out. Peace.